Welcome to Grit City Tales, a podcast brought to you by the Humane Society for Tacoma and Pierce County. I'm Mary.
And I'm Maggie.
And together we're amplifying the untold stories of pets and the people who love them. Welcome back.
Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about a recent cat declawing ban that went into effect in Tacoma. The release for the approval on this cat declawing ban was in December of 2023, and we have one of the main players in making that happen here today.
Yes,
we have our CEO of the Humane Society for Tacoma and Pierce County, Leslie Dalzell. Hello, Leslie.
Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
Yay.
I'm excited to see your faces here.
I know.
I know sometimes we don't get to see, you're a busy person being the CEO and all.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have a moment of,
Yeah.
we have you right here with us today.
Absolutely.
So Leslie, can you first mention a little bit about, tell people about yourself, your history, what got you here, your dog Fonzie, because everyone loves Fonzie, and then we'll dive into this cat declawing ban that has made such a positive impact on cats in our area.
Sure. So I moved to Washington State in 2018, and I moved here to accept the role as the Chief Financial Officer for the Humane Society. I've been in that role from 2018 until the end of 2022 when I took over as the Chief Executive Officer. And so I was interim for a few months and became permanent in April of 2023. It has been a whirlwind, and I think working here, I've been with for-profit organizations up until joining the Humane Society. So I come with a unique set of skill set and background. Won my CPA license, my master's degree, and coming from a for-profit organization and focusing on organizations that were financially distressed. And then coming to an organization that has a more mission focus. It's been a big change in how I view our community, how I view the world, and I've absolutely loved being here. I can't imagine not being at the Humane Society for Tacoma and Pierce County. So I have a dog. His name is Fonzie. Arthur Fonzarelli is his full name.
Oh.
Some of you generationally may understand what that name comes
Happy
from.
days.
Yeah, he's the coolest dog, and so he had to have the coolest name. He came to us in 2020. So he was a COVID dog, and so,
He's remarkably well socialized for most of the COVID dogs we see.
He is. And I think part of that is he comes to work with me every day. So he gets to see all the smiles here. He gets to see other species of animals. He loves every animal he comes in contact with. We've done a lot of training. So he's gone through dog therapy training, so he can go into assisted living homes and schools and things like that. So
that is so precious.
Yeah, he's
very popular here.
Yeah, when he's on his best behavior, he's
because he's huge too.
Working. Yeah,
So and his bark is it echoes through the Humane Society.
Yeah.
And so when I'm walking down the hall and he sees me, it's gotten to the point where he will boof until I go visit him. And so I'm like, I don't want to interrupt Leslie, but I gotta say hi to Fonzie.
Yes.
And so that's how it's gone.
Most people probably stop by to say hi to Fonzie, and they're like, "Oh, hey, Leslie."
Yeah, that's exactly. It happened already this morning. Somebody just popped in, and I could hear them talking to him and passing him a treat. And about 5 minutes later, they said, "Oh, hey, I didn't see you there." Well, it's okay.
Well, the pets bringing people together. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yes.
So on this line of pets and bringing people together and how they make us so happy and such, we want to talk a little bit about how we're also trying to give back to them in our missions here at the shelter and making their lives better. Let's dive into this cat declawing ban.
Sure.
Just give us a little bit of background maybe on how this came about.
Yeah, so we were contacted actually by Deputy Mayor Hines' office, and his team had asked us what our opinion was on the policy and what the current laws were. And of course, we immediately sent a response back saying, we are against declawing of cats. We are not in support of the fact that it's a common practice in our area. And so working together, along with several other organizations in the state, so the Paw Project and Posados.
Oh, wonderful.
They also came forward and provided a lot of language. The Paw Projects worked on these type of initiatives in lots of other areas. But Tacoma was the first in Washington State to actually ban declawing of cats.
Yeah.
Grit City! Look at us go!
Setting the standards.
Yeah, they were talking about this at the HSUS conference, Animal Care Expo. I was like, been there, done there. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it was really this compilation of conversations that occurred over time. Deputy Mayor Hines met with us several times, reviewed several drafts of what the new law was going to be. That's where the Paw Project came in. Dan Paul from HSUS also got involved and provided some support on language and laws that he's seen passed in other areas. And so that was the start of it. And once we got a good draft going, Deputy Mayor Hines really took it the rest of the way. One of the exciting things about it is through the process, there were several times where the council met to discuss the change in the law. And our team went to the council meetings and attended and spoke at the meetings. But what was really heartwarming is there were hundreds of write-ins from the community. Our partners, a lot of our partners at other rescues and humane societies across the state wrote in. So that was where I think the power of unity comes into play in any advocacy work that we can get involved in. So before the council meetings had met, we had sent out a request to all of the rescues and the humane societies in the state and asked for their support. And that's where the 300 some plus write-in votes came to council members to support the ban. So definitely wasn't just one effort. It was this is where
team.
It is a team, and it's a team across the state. And this is a great example of how we work together. But that network is so important with the rescues and the humane societies across the state. So much respect for what they do, and being a player in that group is really rewarding. Yeah.
I mean, we're all here to support each other. We've said this before. We're all
doing the same thing.
Yeah.
We're all working
different areas, but same goal. And so then, I don't know, Mary, do you want to provide a little bit of context for why this cat declawing ban is so important for the cats in our area? Like why is declawing a cat something that we don't support? I guess you or Leslie, go ahead and.
Well, I think anyone in animal welfare understands the impact of declawing and the behavioral medical issues that can come with the declawing of a cat. And so, claws are used for a natural behavior, for scratching, for, being able to protect themselves. I know,
covering their litter even.
Yeah, covering their litter, and they like the feel of litter when they're using the restroom. And so I know, Leslie, you were talking right before this podcast about a story that you were going to share.
Sure. Yeah. So my parents had a couple of cats. And as they got older, my dad started to get really thin skin, and he had blood clotting concerns, right? So he's a very common story with people as to why they make a decision to get their cat declawed. The cat would scratch him, and then he'd have all kinds of problems, unable to heal. So medically, my dad was challenged with the cat in the house with claws. So this is going back several years. My parents, not knowing any better, went ahead and had their cats declawed. Not in Washington State, but in another area. And the problems that existed after that is very common in what we see in animals being surrendered or cats being surrendered after the procedure. So the common things and what they found is the cat stopped using the litter box. And the reason it stopped using the litter box is because the uncomfortableness or the pain that is incurred when they scratch the litter after they're done using the box. And so now they go outside of the box because the litter itself is painful for the cat's claws, or where the claws used to be. In addition to that, using their claws is a way that cats communicate. It's a way that they defend themselves. And so when the claws are removed, what the cat ends up doing is using their teeth.
Mm-hmm.
So they use their mouth as their form of communication. And so instead of scratching my dad, now his best friend started to bite him.
And cat mouths are icky.
Worse.
Very, very icky. Lots of
their saliva is not good
germs.
stuff.
Yeah, and so they ultimately ended up having to put that cat down.
Oh.
The second cat didn't display the biting behaviors, did not use the litter box. And so that cat they were able to retain because it wasn't impacting my dad's health. But there's so many other things that could have been done to solve the problem. Mm-hmm. Filing cat nails, keeping them trimmed or dull so that you don't have the scratching issues. There's tips that you can apply and we've come a long way in those tips. They're the tips that you can apply to the end of the nail aren't the kind that just fall off in 2 hours. They actually will adhere and stay. It allows the cat to retain their defenses and their method of communication without having and incurring all the behavioral challenges.
Or the pain, like you were saying, because I've heard it's like removing a finger at your knuckle.
Yes.
Or, at a bend, just not having half of your fingers.
Yeah.
And it actually changes the way that they stand. It's like more, it's hard to visualize without y'all being able to see me, but they walk differently, and it can be painful. And like Leslie said, they didn't know any better. They didn't have the education to support why it's not a good idea and why we don't support declawing.
I think they also, everybody makes the best decision they can for their family.
Right.
And there's, that we have no judgment against someone for making a decision that they felt was the best and with the knowledge and the education that they had. That's why podcasts like this are great, because we can share a different experience and a different side and know, if those decisions are ones that you make for your family, there's no judgment of that. We're just trying to show that there's a better or a different way to do it from our perspective. Cats can be trained.
Surprisingly.
Unlike a lot of people don't think they can. But cats can be trained. They can be trained to scratch in a certain place. They can get treats and praise every time they use the scratch post versus your couch.
Catnip spray and stuff to lure them over to the area.
Sure.
They can be bribed.
There's all kinds of tools that are available. And that's where, anyone in the community who is challenged with their cat and these behavioral issues can call our pet support counselors. And our pet support counselors can give you some advice on those tools and where to go and the resources to help change the behavior of the cat so that it can fit with your family and your lifestyle too.
Yeah, we want to keep pets with their people for sure. And like Leslie said, there's a lot of other alternatives to declawing, such as increasing the amount of scratch posts you have in your home, and what you said with the catnip spray, and
or even if they're scratching or exhibiting unwanted behavior, having a vet check to make sure, are they in pain maybe to see what the root cause. In your parents' case, it may not have been pain. It was because your dad, his health was at risk if he got scratched, and they did what they could to be able to keep their pets because they loved them. They didn't want to have to rehome them. And so that was a decision made out of love that just inadvertently...
A malicious decision.
Inadvertently went a different way. And the fact that they were willing to deal with the unwanted behaviors still, the going outside of the litter box. Some people, they really have a hard time accepting, if their cats are house soiling, and then that creates a whole new problem. They're like, okay, well, maybe I was wanting to rehome or surrender for this reason, but now it's going outside the litter box, and now I don't know how to manage that problem.
Right, yeah.
But we're here. Our pet support team is amazing, and we have tools that we're able to offer and help, because we want surrender or rehoming to be the last option if you are looking or are in a place where, hey, I don't know what's going on with my animal. I love them, but we can't continue like this.
Yeah.
We want to give you options.
There is support out there. I think that's the hard part is I definitely felt, in my parents' situation, I think they were trying to deal with it alone. They didn't reach out. They didn't ask questions. They didn't know where to go because what they always knew was to go to a veterinarian, talk to my veterinarian. And so the solution that unfortunately they were given was the one of declawing. And so fortunately in city of Tacoma, that procedure won't be provided.
Unless medically necessary.
Unless medically necessary for the cat.
Right, for the
Yes.
cat. That's the key.
And we've seen some interesting cases here where, like, animals have come in with an injury to a foot or infections or something, or, cancer on a leg, whether it's dog, cat, rabbit, whatever it may be. So we do understand there are reasons to, have to remove things from animals that are supposed to be there.
Right.
But in this case, it's great to hear that it's not like an elective procedure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely.
On our next episode, we are going to have a guest that can go more into detail about cat behavior, how declawing affects their behavior, and tools, tips, to move forward without the elective procedure.
So in Tacoma, luckily our little cat friends have their backs. Others who have their backs include...
Yeah, so a lot of the council members got really engaged and involved in this one. We had Deputy Mayor Hines, which I had mentioned before, Council Member Diaz, and Council Member Rumbaugh. They were also instrumental in the discussions with the council on the reasons to pass the ban. But they've been supportive. All of them have been supportive of our organization. And I think it goes to show the tone for this area of the Pacific Northwest, the tone in Tacoma about loving your animals and really trying to advocate for them at all costs. And so we're very, very fortunate to have a city council that is pet friendly and very pet motivated to change the world and the lives of the animals in our community. And I can't say enough thank yous to the three of them for helping push this forward.
And it sounds like a lot of staff here helped with that as well. So it's just like... So great.
Julia Bonzel, Angela Burris, there were so many people that were engaged or involved. Julia came to one of the council meetings. She's currently our volunteer manager, came to one of the council meetings and also spoke a statement to the council at one of the first rounds. She also was involved in some of the drafting and reviewing of the new law and the changes. So it was a team effort of a lot of people at this organization. But as I had mentioned before, like Posados and the Paw Project, can't say enough nice things about how they just jumped in and didn't say, hey, what do you need me to do? They actually jumped in and did. Yeah. And that was really impactful.
So where can people go to learn more about the ban if they're interested? I know that there was an article written about it. If you're looking to see, kind of the details or specifics of the ban, where can you go to find that?
So the City of Tacoma webpage has a list of all the laws for how we treat animals. Title 17 is the biggest one that we use for animal control or how animals are treated in our city. And so I would take a look at the city website and look up the cat declaw ban, and you'll find it there.
Yeah, that's where I found it.
And then we're going to be able to talk more about the actual the cat behavior side of things next week. So that'll be really nice to learn more about
an actual implementation of tips and tricks.
Yeah. So join us next time as well. But before we close our discussion with CEO Leslie today, we have some really great things that have happened here recently as well. So how have we made happy happen? Well, I know that this week is PetSmart National Adoption Week. It runs 7/15, so the 15th of July to 7/21, the 21st of this month. We have cats at the PetSmart in Gig Harbor, and so hopefully more feline friends will be finding their families, their brand new families this week at PetSmart in Gig Harbor, as well as here at the shelter. But we've also had a really special art installation here at the shelter. Mary, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think it's something that I've noticed, going through Tacoma and Grit City, is I've noticed a lot of local artists that, do street art and, painting on the sidewalks and the streets and walls. And that's one of my favorite things, is exploring Tacoma and seeing the art. And so we actually had a mural muse contest where people would vote and donate to get their pet on our wall. And so if you've been to the Humane Society recently, we have this beautiful, colorful installation of 3 dogs, which we have painted by Nofo Porter. The dogs' names are Sasha,
Luna,
and Ruby. And they're just adorable. And Porter shared that her connection to the shelter's mural project is, as an artist, you dream of projects that allow you to collaborate with others and create something meaningful outside of your studio. When I heard about this project, I immediately wanted to be part of it. I adopted a dog from the shelter 6 years ago, and he has taught me so much about care and commitment. I'm pleased to see Sasha's story honored in this way. It's been a joy to work on this project. Maggie, can you share Sasha's story?
So one of the dogs featured is actually Sasha. She's a 7-year-old pit bull terrier mix. She was adopted from the shelter in 2017. She had her leg amputated, actually, from a battle with cancer. But I think those who have met her, they say that her spirit and resilience make her a symbol of hope and determination. And I personally got to see her up in one of our play yards. They had her, because all the dogs, it was really precious, all the dogs that won the contest, they came back on site once the mural was finished, and they got their pictures taken with the mural. And I got to see Sasha running around in one of our play yards, and just a zest for life. Those 3 legs didn't slow her down one bit. We actually got to see one of the other mural winners at Bark by the Bay when we were there at Chambers Bay on the 13th, and they stopped by our booth. So that was really cool to meet some of those in person, and just, I mean, their people love them. We all love our animals so much. They just unite us in the best ways. And so those very special pups are kind of on our shelter, representing the hope and the passion people have for their animals, the resilience that these shelter animals, but also that all of us here in Grit City have. So if you ever get a chance to even just stop by and look at it, I mean, it's beautiful.
Absolutely. And colorful, and just it's a light on our building.
Yeah, I think I was a little starstruck when I saw the dog at Bark by the Bay. It's like, oh my gosh, that's the dog from the building. So it's really cool that now these 3 shelter dogs have kind of gotten
stars.
Yeah, they've become famous names on the side of a building.
Yeah. And more importantly, like, they're loved family members.
Yeah.
That's all we want for any of the animals that
leave this building.
Are adopted from us. Just a beloved family member, and those pups are definitely beloved family members.
Yeah. And thank you so much for joining us, Leslie. Yeah. Like, taking time out of your day to come talk with us
this was fun.
Talk to the community about the cat declawing ban that we had a part in. It's an honor.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an honor for me too. This is a great podcast. It's one of my favorites. So
I would hope so.
it's definitely on my playlist. So it's a pleasure to get a chance to be on it. Thank you.
Thank y'all for listening. And we post episodes every other Thursday, so come back and listen soon.
And if you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to support the podcast, please go ahead and subscribe, share it with others, leave a rating and a review. And if you have any questions that you want us to answer on a future episode, head to our website, thehumanesociety.org/podcast, and submit your questions. To catch all the latest from the Humane Society for Tacoma and Pierce County, check us out on Instagram and Facebook at Tacoma Humane.
See you guys next time.